Voices, and this is our hot topic segment. And today we've got a lot of topics to discuss. And my name is Dr. Sharon Michael Chadwell, and seated with me today are Mario Salas, Chris Dawkins, and Caleb Alexander. So our first topic, we want to discuss white America's trauma. What? Did I say something wrong? So before we discuss white America's trauma, let's discuss the trauma that Black America has undergone for over 400 years. First of all, there was chattel slavery. Then we moved into Black racial terror and legalized oppression. Then during the 1950s, we moved into the civil rights struggle and violent backlash. Then in the 70s, we started seeing structural or the continuation of structural inequality and mass incarceration. And then in terms of now where we are now, we're looking at contemporary racism and ongoing struggles. So white America, you've only been dealing with the trauma that you're undergoing in Minneapolis for just a fraction of a time. Thoughts?
Oh.
Wake up.
I thought I was at a demonstration. Please. We talked about, in a previous show, we talked about the importance of having a strategy, of having people who know how to deal with strategy. And
Strategy what?
Those are people who normally lead, okay, or are in a position to lead either in the front or from the back. Nelson Mandela used to always talk about it's better to lead from the back than it is from the top down. So when you organize, you want to try to organize from the bottom up. And I don't see a lot of that bottom up organizing being done in Minneapolis. I see a lot of passion, and that's wonderful. I see people fighting for democracy, and that's wonderful. But the strategies are not there. They need to be developed. And we see a little bit of that. We mentioned once before, Bruce Springsteen developing some songs. During the Vietnam War was Pete Seeger and Peter Paul and Mary, and they had all people playing guitars and all of that, which gave a cohesiveness to the struggle so that you could develop some symbiotic relationships between the Black movement and the whites who were concerned about social justice. We're not seeing that like we should, and so there's a disconnect there. It's trying to go that way, but it's not fast enough or not good enough. So that's kind of like one of the centerpieces of what we need to do.
Well, let me give you a little bit of pushback on that. If you're talking, okay, Minneapolis, the majority of the people who've been protesting have been white.
Correct.
Okay, and they're Johnny-come-latelys, I think what you were saying, basically, to protesting. So they ain't got no strategy, okay, which is what you're saying. But at the same time, the Black folks, because we had been doing it, but we're not present in Minneapolis, there's no strategy there because we are the professionals at protesting, and they ain't.
No.
Okay, so from my standpoint, I'm saying there's no strategy based on what you're saying because they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, part of the problem is that they're seeing, for right now, 2 white persons getting shot and killed on the streets. Okay, we've seen this over and over and over and over and over again to where we understand what the talk means when we talking to our kids on, I'm going to tell you this, make sure you keep this in mind to where if you undergo this, don't do this, don't do that. White people really haven't had to deal with telling their kids, giving their kids to talk because their privilege allowed them to walk out the house, walk out the office building, knowing that they wouldn't get hurt. Black people, on the other hand, there's no telling how our day would turn. We're trying to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, get some chicken. We have we had a brother who got arrested. During lunchtime, he was sitting at the park across the street from Kentucky Fried Chicken. But he got arrested because someone said, he looked like another person that did something down the way. Think about all the people who have gotten shot and killed at police stops.
Well, what I want to say is that what's happening in America today is not the black community. We feel the same thing that the white community is feeling, but we've been on the front line for so long. And I also think that inherently we believe if we get involved, okay, and especially without a quote unquote system, strategy, nonviolent or whatever, it's going to jump out of hand very quickly because we are emotional people.
One thing that maybe has not been talked about enough, and you can look at the term intersectionality or the crossroad. The crossroad that we don't talk about enough, and I don't mean us, but us and everybody else, is that the attack from the White House has been an attack based on political ideology. It's based on, what does he keep calling liberals and Democrats? They're the enemy within. So that component, which is fascism, they're identifying anyone who doesn't agree with Trump as the enemy. That includes black folks, whether we say something or not. And so black folks do know in the back of their mind they're probably coming after us sooner or later.
Right.
But knowing how to work that strategy, going after whites is not looked at like they're going after whites. And not only that, you can't tell with those guys, the ICE people have masks on, it might be a Hispanic shooting a white guy.
Right.
So you can't tell what's going on, but they don't care about that. The mask hides that. That's what fascism does. It's a mask. And because it is a mask, and the enemy is identified as all Democrats, all liberals, they're destroying. You're not going to have a country anymore, ain't that what you used to say? If you don't follow me down here and protest.
The mask, though, seems to be symbolism to like Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan, yeah. But then it was all based on color. Now it's based on color still, but now it's based also on your way of thinking. Your ideology now becomes the enemy, not the skin color. And that's why they're killing white folks. They're not with us. That's what Trump is saying.
Right.
They're not with me. They're against me. So he don't go off the car park. His whole thing is, let me kill the people that don't agree with me.
But I mean, and just to jump in here, but I mean, if you think about it, right, it is fascism, right? But if you look at what fascism is, right, and so the state control, and it's the carceral society, and all, you know what I mean? And so it's like white folks are running around losing their mind, like, oh my God, the sky is falling, right? We're losing our democracy, losing our ability to vote, we're losing our ability to carry guns, right? Black folks are looking at it like that we call that Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Right.
That happened 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's what you look at. Like,
30 minutes ago.
You people running around here panicking because all of a sudden police are shooting you, right? Yeah, that's welcome. Welcome to our world.
Well,
so that's why. And why aren't you getting involved? We're yawning. You know what I'm saying? We're used to this.
And we could be, our lack of presence at these events may be the very thing that may be slowing down martial law.
I think so.
You think? I mean,
it could be. It could be.
I don't. I think we're such a minority in this country. You know what I mean?
But it's our history.
It's just to the looking at their mentality, and you have to understand the way they view us, right? They view us as insignificant. They view us as not even worthy of attention.
But I'm gonna give you some pushback on that. Okay, I think really they look at us as being significant, and they're worried about us really becoming significant, which is the reason that they're doing what they're doing right now. Okay, yeah, we're minorities or whatever, but so are the Jews. They're minorities as well. So just because you're a minority, to me, does not necessarily mean that you're any lesser than. But the white folks think of us as being lesser than, but not necessarily.
No, I mean, but that's apples and oranges. One out of those two groups you mentioned,
Right.
one of them were the slaves, and the other one financed the slave trade. So that's two different monetary dynamics. You know what I mean? But no, I think because of their racism, we're invisible. Because of their racism, we don't matter. Because of their racism, the only they view us as a problem. It's a problem of criminality, not power. and that's the difference. You know what I mean? So they're because of their racism. Yeah, this is not a four-alarm fire for us in particular.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whereas everyone else who is used to this privilege, who have walked through life with privilege, it's a four-alarm fire. How can you shoot white people? You know what I mean? How can you beat up white? How can you push a white woman down in the street? How can you knock on our door? How can you ask if we're carrying a firearm? Don't you see the color of my skin? You know what I mean? And so to them, it's oh my God, you know, the sky is falling. And again, to us, it's like, okay, it's Monday.
And but the other thing is, we have to all keep in mind, Minneapolis, and I feel bad for the city. It's a distraction piece because what they're doing is while they're just kicking up dirt, all kind of stuff, and ice is kicking, is really being totally wrong. Totally wrong. What are they trying to do? Manipulate the midterm elections, and then also. We're going to do a show on this next week because I'm going to do some reading this weekend. The Epstein Files, and that's another series of Epstein Files came out, and it's just some horrible stuff in this one, even more so.
They named him. Somebody said he was named in this
Multiple
newspaper.
times.
In this
Him
newspaper.
and Melania.
Okay.
My theory on that is there has to be videotapes of people being raped. And that's probably what they're trying to hide.
When I went
And you know who might be in one of those tapes.
so what I did was I went on over to the BBC
Right.
to see some video, not videos, but some pictures. So the BBC is just putting it all out there. As much as they can get, they're putting it out there. So we're going to, since we're in Minneapolis, let's talk about this church situation that got Don Lemon and 3 other black journalists in trouble. First of all, Don Lemon was doing, and these other journalists were doing their job. They were doing what they were paid to do. But this was a church service like none other. They found out that this pastor, let me get the name here.
He's a nice puppet.
Right. He worked for him.
That he worked for ICE. And the people found out, stormed the church. Now, I don't know how Don Lemon and them found out about this protest, but they were there being journalists, right? What does Donald Trump do? He wants the DOJ to arrest him for violating what do they say? The
Freedom of
freedom of
religion
access
statute.
to clinic entrances and places of religious worship act.
That's a stretch.
That's a stretch. That's a long one.
But they said that the district court and even the appeals court refused to even sign that warrant.
But
In
they
Minneapolis.
But
he got somebody to do
got him,
it.
They did it.
Yeah.
got him a MAGA judge
Right.
to say otherwise. So now, Don Lemon, Georgia Fort, Traham Jens Crew, and Jamal Lindell Lunde. Now they're facing felony charges. Thoughts?
Well, for a very long time now, and it has to do with the Black Lives Matter movement, when everyone pretty much became a citizen journalist. And under the Constitution, the First Amendment, anybody with a camera can become a journalist. And that's your cell phone, because you can record anything within your eyesight according to the First Amendment. You can't stop somebody from recording anything. So we're all citizen journalists from that point of view. But Don Lemon and the others stated that they were there. They were not part of the protest. They were there covering the protest. And so they have a First Amendment right to do that. My prediction, they ain't going to get no they're going to be found, I don't think it's going to even go to trial.
No,
A judge is going to dismiss it.
This is what I think is going to happen is this.
sit down.
Now, the DOJ is having a hard time holding on to their staff. Whoever the DOJ prosecuting attorney is going to be, I believe that person is already getting that little box together to walk out.
And they may be disqualified because they have no experience with prosecution. And that keeps happening over and over again.
Yeah.
And some of the staff at the White House and other places are Epstein file island renegades.
I mean, honestly, anybody who knows history, has read fundamental history, we all had arrested journalists on the bingo card, right? Because we know that's just a check, check, check. Yeah, arrested. I just didn't think we'd get to it this quick. You know, I knew it was coming. We all knew it's coming. That's part of becoming a dictator, or you arrest journalists, right? But again, I think most of us are surprised that it came this early in this march toward authoritarianism.
Well, let's say we had 4 black folks in Minneapolis. You know, they've been wanting to get somebody black up there anyway. So this happened to Ben Don Lemon, who's famous, and then let's go ahead and say he's gay. Mm-hmm. So they got a 2 for 1, and then they got a black woman, and they got 2 more black men, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that, they were already trying to figure out how, they wanted to arrest someone black.
Well, look, on a local level, they're trying to build an ICE detention camp here on the east side.
Yeah, I just went by and looked at it.
Yeah. But they got to get the zoning permit for that.
That's
and I
what-
don't think they got enough votes to get it.
That's what.
I can only think of 2 ICE puppets that are going to vote for that on the
Right.
city council.
Right.
So
They better not.
But yeah, they better not. But that kind of relates to what you're saying. Why would they pick the east side to put an ICE detention facility in there? I mean, what's that?
Because
Is that to incite us to do something? I mean, and we've already been incited. DEI, that too. DEI programs eliminated, right? Getting in the park for free on Martin Luther King days, eliminated. So they've done little bitty things to try to incite us to do something. And sooner or later it's going to get worse. Because that hasn't really brought, like we've been talking about, that hasn't brought out the big black protests yet. But it's coming. Because
think so?
they're not going to stop.
Yeah.
To get rid of, democracy looks like what? Like protest in the street. That's what democracy looks like.
Right.
Democracy looks like citizen journalists. That's what democracy looks like. So in order to get rid of democracy, which is what their goal, that's their goal, is to have one man in charge of everything. There'll never be, until he dies, be the president forever. That's their goal. And sooner or later, it's going to get to the point where, because in the back of their mind, and I think it's in really the front of their mind, they know that black folks will be the main obstacle toward making it completely undemocratic. We are the main obstacle, sooner or later.
why do you say that?
Because of our history against slavery, of our history with Martin Luther King, a history of marching, a history of correct tactics, nonviolent tactics, laying down in the street, as opposed to throwing water bottles at them. Now, I wish I understand. They're getting
You were the one laying down in the street.
I know I laid down in the street. And they know that. And so they're hoping that they can find a way to get around that. And to get around that, let's get rid of DEI programs, let's get rid of black women at universities, let's try and do all of these little things and soften up. It's like in a war. They're firing mortar shells at us instead of howitzers. Right. They're trying to soften up the enemy position, and the enemy position is us. We're the enemy position.
I'm gonna do something I rarely do.
What's
which
that?
is slightly disagree with Mario.
Okay.
So this is. But see, my thing is this. So just a numbers game. We're 48 million. Okay. Latinos population bloom about 80 million. White population in this country is well over 200 million. So if you look at that 48 million, 200 million, and I want you to also contrast this to the different protests. You have the Mike Brown protest, which was pretty much wholly black folks. And contrast that to the George Floyd protest, where white women took to the street. They heard him calling for his mama. They said that could have been my baby. They took to the streets.
Plus they just saw it on TV. also.
Worldwide. Worldwide. So that's the difference. The difference is when you have black protestations that are strictly within our community versus a wider protestation. It happens when you get white folks out there and white folks involved.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is I don't think we're gonna move the needle, is what I'm saying. I don't think we're gonna be the ones to move the needle. I think what's gonna move that needle is when you keep shooting white folks. And when you keep threatening their privilege, when they feel like their privilege is threatened, that moves the needle. That's when white folks get out the street. That's when they stop caring. That's when you see them picking up the smoke bombs and throwing them back. Like, God damn it, guys. You know, so that's when that moves the needle. But
You know, I've said this before, Caleb. I don't think I necessarily disagree with you.
but I get make and I make light of it though. But it is democracy is at it is at its highest threat since the foundation of this country, even greater than when we had the Civil War. And so and I think people need to understand it's not going to be left versus right, or black versus white, or it's going to come down to people who want to keep a 250-year-old democracy and people who do not, is what it's basically going to come down to in this country.
Are you satisfied? I want to ask everybody the question. Are you satisfied with how black people have responded at this point?
I am.
Okay.
I'm satisfied because I think they need to work out their own issues, man.
Okay. So
They
I think we all are.
they really
I think
do.
we're all okay in agreement with that.
Yeah,
think
that
this
it may change, but
Yeah.
that time ain't right now.
Right.
My mother is 92 years old, and she's in total agreement.
Yeah. This is white on white crime.
And, you know, and I want to compliment us because when George Floyd was killed, then all these memes came out. Okay, I want to compliment black folks because I have not seen one meme against any of the white folks who have gotten killed. You know, because we could have easily done it.
Here they come.
Huh?
I'm saying after you say that, here they come.
But I haven't seen one.
I don't
And, you
think. Yeah, I don't think we're not.
we got empathy.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, that's not us. We're not those. We're not those folks. It's those folks that wear MAGA hat there in their mama's basement.
Now we may
Those
talk
are the ones
about,
that make
now
the,
we may talk about
make the meme.
Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
You know, but other than that, you know,
But before you go there, I want to, Mario was talking about the amendment that freedom of the speech and
Freedom of press.
freedom of the press,
And
right?
both, and speech
Right,
too.
right. But when they talked about, what's the guy's name that they killed? The white guy?
Alex
Alex
Freddie.
Freddie.
Yeah, yeah.
Alex Petty.
Trump said, well, you shouldn't have no gun at a protest.
Yeah, that's all they do.
No, but the Second Amendment,
Yeah.
he's
Yep,
legally
you're
carrying a
right.
gun.
You're right. What was
But
that
they-
guy's name? The young guy with the
They celebrated him, right? What is it?
What's his name?
Rittenhouse, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Right.
Yeah, Kyle
He
Rittenhouse.
Right.
He was. They invited him to the White House. They invited him to Mar-a-Lago. He was celebrated. He
Carrying a
got
big old gun
got
too.
a
He didn't have
podcast.
no pistol.
Yeah,
He
and
didn't have no little pistol. He had a long
yeah,
gun.
it wasn't even as good. His mama. I mean, it wasn't. He even registered him, and he went out to a different state to get involved into a BLM protest. And so, he's a hero. This guy is in his own state with a legal firearm, who is a nurse who at the VA
And
who
never pulled
takes
it
care
out.
of veterans. Never pulled it out. Never shot anybody. He gets 10 in the back. You know what I mean? So it depends on who it is. But the thing is, I know the NRA, their head probably is exploding because they don't know what the hell to say or what the hell to do. You know what I mean? They twisted themselves into a pretzel when when people were forced them to make a statement. I mean, that first statement they came out with. I mean, yeah, it was
It's just funny
insane.
because
Yeah.
I mean everybody's been when I say everybody before they've been talking about Second Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights. We
Yeah.
supposed to have it,
Yeah.
and then Trump said,
Don't tread
you
on
shouldn't
me."
have no gun at a protest.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to keep in mind that the people that gravitate toward Trump, they're not totally united. You've got
What's the name?
the super extremists who now think Trump done sold them out. The super extremists, I'm talking about worse than the Klan.
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ones that are way out, so far to the right they went around in a circle. So you've got that division going on there. You got the pro-gun people that division going on there.
What's her name?
And then you've got some, because I visit these right wing. I don't advise people to do it, but I go to those right wing websites.
Oh, okay.
Right wing websites.
Okay.
Like Stormtrooper, which is a Nazi website. They're mad at Trump. They're mad at it.
Wow.
And you know what they say? There's too many Hispanics that are part of ICE. This needs to be an all-white operation.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
They're so crazy that they're fighting with each other to some degree. And sooner or later, that's gonna boil up too.
Yeah.
They're gonna boil up too.
Very
He
interesting
shouldn't
time.
have
No, she
no
don't
white,
know
no
Trump
ICE
under the
agents
bus.
should be non-white. That's what they're saying on those Nazi websites.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun because I want to. I keep saying I want to see the Nazis versus the Confederates versus the "Don't Tread on Me" folks versus the Montana militiamen. I want to see them all just go
Open carry,
Yeah,
guys.
I want to see them all just battle. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is that the administration is kind of like, in those cartoons where the guy shoots, he shoots at himself.
Yeah, there's just a big old circle,
Yeah.
circle of fire squad. But and that's the wonderful thing about it, because the thing that united them was their racism.
And that's what's pulling them apart.
Right, but you take us out of it,
Right.
then they have to fight each other because
Right.
the black we out of it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So yeah, that's the
That's
Yeah,
just something
please do
that
that.
may get worse as time goes on. And to this day, I still say that the guy who tried to kill Charlie Kirk was not no liberal. He was a conservative.
yeah, he was.
He was a conservative, an extremist conservative.
He was
Tried to kill another extremist conservative.
Yeah.
So how long you think Kristi Noem got a job?
I don't know.
Give another-
She's going back to Epstein Island for
Give her another week or two, and then she's out of there. Because he did not like the optics of it, and the only thing they had to do was walk in there and say, "Mr. President, your poll numbers are dropped." Bovino's ass was on the plane that evening, and Noam is already. Well, I did everything that Trump and Miller told me to do. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Well,
And-
they're really still pissed at her because she said, I got the Epstein files on my desk.
Yeah.
Okay. And then come back.
that might be the only thing that's saving her.
That's Bondi.
That's
Oh,
that's
yeah,
Bondi
Bondi,
said.
okay,
But
yeah.
no,
You get Dr.
yeah.
Epps over
She
here.
said she was doing exactly what they told her to
Yeah,
do.
exactly what they told
She
me.
threw him under the bus.
Yeah,
Okay.
she threw Trump and Miller because she is facing impeachment from Congress.
right.
So she's throwing them under the bus.
Right.
Oh yeah. So
But it
it's
don't
gonna
make
be-
no difference. She shouldn't be doing it.
No. It's gonna be fun.
Well, she's an Epstein Island queen too, right? Pam Bondi?
Yeah.
There's pictures of her with
No.
Epstein.
But see,
Epstein at the island.
No.
this is the other
I'm
thing.
not
Look,
joking.
This is the other thing we need to talk about, right? The spy. What? Tulsi Gabbard. Is it Tulsi Gabbard?
Yeah.
Tulsi Gabbard. Why is Tulsi Gabbard
Down in Florida.
Down in
Georgia
Georgia.
participating in FBI raids? FBI is not even heard.
In
Yeah.
Fulton County,
Yeah.
stealing the ballots. Who knows what they're going to do with them?
And where they are now.
Yeah, well, who knows where they are?
She's in charge of the intelligence communities, not domestic. She has really no domestic operational authority whatsoever. She's
down
basically
there.
in charge of foreign intelligence operations. Why is she down there? What are these ballot boxes? Are they saying that the Russians did do something with the ballot boxes? Or what's she
Well,
doing?
you know that I saw an article where, and maybe it's tied into Georgia, but Trump did supposedly, contacted Russia to begin the process of rigging the election. So maybe this situation in Georgia is a distraction, as well.
Well, I wanted to ask Mario,
Oh,
what would be the purpose of even taking these ballots? Maybe you might know as well. I
well,
don't know.
you probably could extrapolate who voted for Trump and who didn't.
Okay.
You could probably, then the ballot wouldn't become secret. There may be a way to do that. I don't know. That may be one reason to do it. The other reason is to make the claim, a false claim, that I now have evidence that the election was stolen from me. I won. That's what Trump is up to.
Yeah.
So what if he did win? So if he won, so is he saying he should have another term?
No, he's saying incarcerate them other people.
Yeah.
All the other people.
Arrest Barack Obama. That's his dream.
Well, he already is telling DOJ to go arrest.
Go arrest Obama.
Obama.
That's his dream.
But those ballots have been verified at least 5 or 6 times
Yeah.
by independent people that there's no cheating going on.
There's nothing there. So again, it's to delegitimize the electoral system because he keeps putting it out there. Maybe we shouldn't have a November election, or I don't think we should have an
We've
election.
been around the block on a lot of this, but let me ask this. Do y'all think Trump is in charge? Do you think he's the one pulling the strings and causing this stuff?
Yeah, because he can fire whoever he wants at any time. He's already shown that he can do that.
Yeah. I think he's
Well, him, his dementia.
Trump is an idiot. He's in charge, but there are people behind Trump
Encouraging him.
that are
Like
that are
Stephen Miller.
no,
No, the
like
billionaire.
Elon Musk, the billionaire class,
billionaires.
yeah, that are behind him that are calling the shot. And my thing is this, and this has been borne out historically. The moment the American people get ready to get rid of Trump, the only thing they have to do is say, none of us are going to work. If we paralyze this economy, you'll see a big change.
That's right.
What happened? This stupid talk about Greenland. All the Europeans told them, we're going to dump every single American treasury bond that we hold onto the market. And that Greenland talk stopped because it would collapse the economy.
Right.
And England just made a deal with China. Since they don't want to deal with America no more, they're making deals with China.
Yeah, it's
It's money.
It's money.
But I mean, I think we need to, at some point, study what fascism actually means. It's a dictator who's backed up by the billionaires. That's the nature. Hitler was backed by the billionaires.
Well, we're about to run out of some time, but I want to talk about this one person, Reverend Joel Weeben at the Covenant Church, Bible Church in Georgetown, Texas. And another YouTuber mentioned him as well. And I have been kind of watching this particular person for a few months, but he's a senior pastor. Now, he's a white evangelicus evangelical minister, and he's out there. You know, his church is really a barn out there in Georgetown. But he has the ear of Trump, okay, and he is going around saying that the black church culture and their pastors are theologically compromised and culturally misguided and morally inferior. So he is proposing that black churches need to be reassigned to white evangelical churches.
Oh, I heard it.
Did he star in the movie Sinners as part of the Klan? Or what?
Yeah. And then the other thing he is saying that if a black person joined his church, they have to completely separate themselves to black culture.
What? This is in Georgetown?
Yeah, and he is a proponent of slavery. He is.
Well, we'll make him a slave. We'll take care of him.
yeah, if he loves slavery, yeah, well, hey, there you go.
Let's see how much he likes it. We'll make him a slave.
He is really attacking black pastors. And I know we got some rascals out there, okay? I'm not going to say that we don't. But he is basically saying culturally compromised and theologically, weak.
Sounds like everything he's accused black pastors of and black churchgoers is what he's guilty of. He's compromised.
This is true, but because we're dealing with a white supremacist, organizations, government, he is saying that he wants to see black churches reassigned to white churches.
Right.
So that we can watch them.
He wants those black dollars.
Yeah, so that we can see
So that other pastors need to be working with ICE like the one in Minnesota. And that'll make them morally responsible, I suppose.
So he sees the inflow of dollars.
He's trying to get some money. He's trying to get some money.
Yeah, that's all. That's a money grab. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she said it was in a barn.
Yeah.
He's trying to get out of the barn and create a mega church.
But just the idea of culturally compromise, and that's hilarious, right? Because here you have these pastors who are okay with locking up immigrant children, right?
Yeah.
Jesus fled, as an immigrant. Mary and Joseph fled as an immigrant and lived in a foreign land. You had in the Old Testament, you had God parting the Red Sea and allowing the Jews to go into a foreign land. An entire nation of immigrants is within another nation, right? And so just all of this, the entire idea of being culturally compromised. What Bible are you reading? What Bible have you guys been preaching out of? You know what I mean? So it's hilarious for them to talk about somebody else being culturally compromised. Just people who, wherever they go, it's about destruction. It's about the theft. It's about, you know, if they're 10 commandments, they've
You know what
broke
just
12 of them.
You know what just ran across my mind is culturally compromised, the new term for woke. It sounds like they're the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, yeah, he's one to watch. He's one to, you know, we really need to keep our eye on. And then finally, real quick, another top topic, another Tuskegee style medical study. Now, this is going to involve the babies. And Robert F. Kennedy is supporting this, and Trump says there's no way that he's going to pull out of the study because it's happening right now in help me see, Guinea-Bissau.
Guinea-Bissau.
Guinea-Bissau. And what they want to do is not give black babies
Hep B?
hepatitis B,
Vaccine?
vaccine, and they want to watch to see what happens to these babies.
And they're doing it in Africa?
And of course, the government there is saying, y'all just want to, you know, deny giving our kids what we know works. But Trump says we ain't going to back out of it.
They ain't got to get that done in Guinea-Bissau.
I was gonna ask you about that.
That's why I'm bringing it out
Oh,
to you.
no. That's not going to happen.
Tell us about that, because I don't know anything about their country.
Oh, no. The people who are running Guinea-Bissau right now, they're not no joke.
And where is it?
It's in West Africa.
Okay.
So Guinea-Bissau is
In the
right.
Sahel?
Huh?
Is it in the Sahel?
No, it's below the Sahel. It's a coastal nation. And so I guess Guinea-Bissau is next to Guinea.
Okay.
And then next to that, you have Liberia.
Okay.
And so, but it's no. Oh, not no. They don't play that. So a lot of our people are from Guinea-Bissau. A lot of Black Americans have roots in Guinea-Bissau, but it was one of the major slave trading warrior society. But right now, the people who are running Guinea-Bissau are like, nah, that ain't going down.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Well, it's interesting, that these studies continue to happen, and they're always messing with black folks,
Yeah.
and now they're messing with the babies.
they don't. These African countries, they need to follow Traore's lead. Don't stop the vaccine. Gates is over there. Try to control birth rates and population because they clearly understand that within the next 60 years, 40% of the population will be sub-Saharan African, and about 50% of the global population will be black within the next 60 to 70 years.
And that's kind of like the international replacement theory. They use the replacement.
Yeah.
Trump and them are pushing that replacement theory.
Yeah.
In 30 years, there won't be a white population anymore, whatever white means.
Yeah.
Won't be a white population anymore. And so internationally, they're worried about that as well.
Yes.
Too many blacks in Africa. They need to try and figure out how to stop them having babies.
Yep.
It's the same thing here. It's just in an international way of looking at it.
Don't take anything from the West. They genetically modify the crops, the seeds. They have a timestamp on all the seeds that they grow that they get from the West, so they can grow one season, 2 seasons, and then they have to go back and buy more. Or those crops, they germinate, and when they spread through the air, they destroy other crops. So yeah, they don't need anything from the West.
Yeah. And then even to get the seeds or whatever they need to grow the crops, they have to go into debt, these African countries,
That too.
with the International Monetary Fund or the World Bank. And I don't know if y'all know about that, but God, the World Bank will loan on a 300-year, you know how we borrow money? Got to pay it back in 12 months, 18 months? The terms are 300-year terms. And what does that do? That ties a poor nation to the International Monetary Fund. You'll never get through paying that debt off.
They when McNamara took it over, right? People think McNamara was fired. No, he wasn't fired. He was promoted. He left from the Defense Department to take over the World Bank. When McNamara took it over, the World Bank was loaning about $1 million a year. By the time McNamara was done with it, they were loaning hundreds of billions of dollars a year. They took over all these countries, put them in debt, so they could control the resources and keep the Soviets and the Russians from getting.
And the countries that fight back, got good, strong leadership, cancel the debt, don't pay them back. But then you got to have the structure to take care of yourself after that, because you can't get loans no more.
Yep.
Well, we have really had a lot to talk about today. This has been, interesting show, or even our main show was interesting. So with that being said, this is Contemporary Black Voices. But before we stop, we want to thank Carl Booker, who is our producer, for putting with us and doing the show, as well as, go ahead, Chris,
Yes.
advertise the paper.
Oh, the Black San Antonio News,
Life Texas.
Life, Texas.
Black Life Texas.
Pick up
All
the
right.
newspaper, advertise, reach out to Carl. Excellent. All your media needs.
HEB.
Yeah, pick it up in HEB.
With that being said, this is Contemporary Black Voices Hot Topic segment. Well, we tell our stories our way. See you next week.
You opened your legs again, then.